welcome to Cooking at the Lake. Today we're at the home of Lucy and Carol Kinsey. And today we are so fortunate because Carol has two recipes for us, not just one. Carol, what are you cooking today?
Well, it's nice to be here, Mary Jane. And today I'm going to cook an appetizer called Crabbies. Ooh. And also a dessert that was very popular with my daughters when they were little, called Marsh Crackers.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that sounds fascinating. Now, what are we using today for our recipes? Let's do the first one first.
Sure. So for the first recipe, we're using a stick of butter softened. We're using one 5-ounce jar of Old English cheese spread, which you can find in your cheese department at your local grocery store.
Now that looks a little unusual. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Is that hard to come by?
It can be. It can be. I can tell you that they do have it at Harris Teeter
in
Charlottesville. I don't know whether they have it here at Food Line or not. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, even though it doesn't really have to be refrigerated, because it's cheese, they'll put it in the refrigerator section.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So don't be fooled by the fact that you might think it wouldn't have to be refrigerated.
Okay.
So then follow that with 2 teaspoons of mayonnaise, and then we have both garlic powder and garlic salt here. The recipe calls for garlic salt, half teaspoon of garlic salt. But if you're watching your salt intake, like many of us are,
yes,
you can substitute the garlic powder, and it makes it not quite so salty as well. Then a half teaspoon as well of seasoned salt. Then a 6.5-ounce can of crab meat right next door to the tuna fish in your shopping in your grocery store aisle.
Now, could you use fresh crab meat, like if you were at the beach and you wanted to make these and you were going to your seafood store, you could do that?
Absolutely. 6.5 ounces will do. Okay. That's just to make sure you have enough to cover the 6 English muffins.
Ah, yeah.
But you have to make sure, if you're buying it at the store, please remember, make sure to drain it.
Oh, yes, that's a good idea.
We've already done that, so that's taken care of. And then 6 English muffins, whatever your favorite brand is.
Oh, yes.
And there you go. Those are all the ingredients for the Crabbies.
Well, let's start mixing. How about that, okay?
Sounds good.
Stick of butter.
The stick of butter that's not cooperating quite as... And you have to be sure you have your handy-dandy can opener here.
Oh, wow. Wow, how old-fashioned. You know, that just seems... Yeah, that is really kind of neat.
And it's getting more, as a result, it's getting more and more difficult
I understand.
To find in the stores. So you just get on in there. And
now, while you're doing that, Carol, you've had a fascinating career. Now, you started here in Charlottesville for your education, didn't you?
I did. I went to UVA for undergrad, and I graduated in 1976. When I was here, I sang with the Glee Club and also with Virginia Gentlemen, which was an 8-member, in those days, a cappella singing group. Yeah. And then after that, I went to William & Mary, so from one tourist trap to another, from Charlottesville to Williamsburg.
But both beautiful cities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Went there for law school. Mm-hmm. And then when I graduated from law school, I went into the Army as a captain in the JAG Corps. And that's JAG Corps, Judge Advocate General's Corps. And by the way, nothing like the TV show. A lot of people ask if that's accurate, the old TV show, whether it's accurate or not, and it's not at all.
Now, y'all, there's a JAG school here, too, isn't there?
Indeed, there is, and so it was great. I got to come back here to Charlottesville after 3 years in law school. I got to come back here for 9 weeks for the JAG basic class and also for additional classes over the years. So after 3 years on active duty with the Army JAG Corps in Washington, D.C. at Fort McNair, so I did that active duty stint, and then I stayed in the reserves in the D.C. National Guard, was exceeding 22 years and retired from that 22 years later. And then on the civilian side, I worked for first in the General Counsel's office at the Office of Personnel Management in Washington. Wow. Doing, as you can imagine, personnel law. Half teaspoon of garlic powder. And after that, I was fortunate enough to be selected to be the chief counsel at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
Ah.
That's the apron.
Ta-da! Yes. Well,
where they make money the old-fashioned way. They print it, and that's part of the Treasury Department.
I see. Well, Carol was kind enough to give us a tour of that for our history group when we went to Washington. And it's nothing like having a VIP to give you a VIP tour, that's for sure. So, well, and then what brought y'all, did you come back to the lake after that?
Well, so
or come to the lake?
Not quite. So I took an early out retirement from that job at the Bureau because I really didn't think I could follow it up with anything else better because it's the best job I ever had.
Yeah.
And went into private practice with a law firm in D.C.
Oh.
doing primarily government contracts.
Wow.
And so I did that with that firm for 9 years. Retired from there. So if you're keeping count, that's 2 retirements so far. So this makes 3. So I retired from there.
You just can't keep a job,
no,
can you?
I can't. I retired from there, and I decided I wanted to teach for a while. So I got a teaching gig with a firm that teaches government employees and contractors all about government contracts.
I see.
And so then...
Well, you know, that's very lucrative to be able to do government contracting. You know, someone who knows how to steward you through it, you know, that's a good skill to have, that's for sure, for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
So. And so you're just mixing all of those things together now. I see. Okay.
Together, just put them on in there.
Okay.
And mix them. You have to make sure that they're nicely mixed. You don't want to keep it as unlumpy as possible, even though it is lump crab meat.
That is true, but it does. You mix it by hand. There's no mixer or anything like that.
To do it. Otherwise, it doesn't work as well with anything else we've ever found. Anyway, so I did that for 9 years with the firm in D.C. doing government contracts, and the teaching that I did after that for about 3 years. And then I had a stroke.
Oh no!
And then I recovered from that, thank God, and went and joined a buddy of mine in his law firm in Alexandria. Actually, he was one of my law school buddies, and I'm of counsel there, which just means that I'm old and I don't have regular office hours, which is nice because that means I don't have to pay rent for the office.
That is nice.
And I'm part of the firm, and there I've been doing primarily government contracts, and the best part of all is I get to do that remotely.
Ah, yes.
And always have. So the pandemic, while it was difficult and different for most people in my profession, wasn't for me.
I see. You were ahead of the curve, as they say. The Zoom curve.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I have a few clients still, which is good, because I don't want to work too much if I don't have to.
No, I don't blame you.
So it's just enough to...
Okay, so that consistency is very smooth, yes.
You want to get it as smooth as you can. One of the things about I'll just give you a clue about the recipe. One of the things that I've noticed in making it is that sometimes if you really haven't gotten the butter quite as soft as it should be, it will be difficult to mix it in thoroughly. But this turned out well, so we'll go ahead and take the next step, which is to spread out our English muffins.
That sounds good. You know, there's different ways to cut up an English muffin, that's for sure. So you kind of like...
So certainly there are. So you just want to split them.
Okay.
And lay them on your cookie sheet.
Now, do you have to spray the cookie sheet with any kind of Pam or anything like that?
Nope, not at all.
I love this place. This is great.
Not necessary.
Good.
You can if you like, but it's certainly these won't stick.
Okay.
At least not in our experience.
All right.
Lay them all out here.
I love this cookie sheet. It's beautiful.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to just... And if you want to spread too...
Yes, I'd be happy to help. Okay.
We'll put this over here.
Thank you.
And spread away. And you just want to spread enough of the mixture on the, and we're all friends here, so.
Yes, and we all have our
use
shots
hands.
now
We
too.
do,
That's why
indeed.
we don't have to wear masks. We're very excited about that.
We certainly are. You just
So
spread
that's
it
about
on.
it. I think I'm a little bit more generous than you are, so I'll have
You
start
can
being a little more
certainly
stingy.
do that.
Yeah. Now you have a project here at the lake that you've gotten involved in, the foundation. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, thank you for asking, Mary Jane. Yes, I was fortunate enough a couple of years ago to be approached by Nancy Parsons at a sip and savor at her home because she had heard that I was a lawyer. And she asked me if I knew anything about or if I had any experience in working with charities, in particular nonprofit charitable organizations. And I said, well, actually, since you mentioned it, I have. And she said, well, I have a couple of friends who here at the lake who are interested in seeing if a charitable organization could be established here in our neighborhood for the purpose of enhancing the well-being of our community here in beautiful Fluvanna County. And yeah, I think this is pretty well done.
Yeah, they look good so far.
And so, actually, what we're going to do now is we're going to put these in the oven.
Okay.
The recipe says for 350.
Okay.
We found that 400 is probably better.
Okay.
You can find this recipe all over. You can find it on the internet, for example. Just look up Crabbies. But we first started doing it because my lovely wife's mother was a gourmet chef. I mean, she was fantastic. She would try the latest recipes in Bon Appetit. And we would be the guinea pigs. Our family would be the guinea pigs because we lived close to them up in Northern Virginia. And she would be getting ready to host a dinner party. And she would find something at Bon Appetit that she wanted to try. And she'd try it out on us.
Oh, that's how it came about.
And this was one of her go-to appetizers.
Oh, okay. And we're putting it in the oven what do you have it at? 400? Because that's what you say you like. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
At 400 until it gets golden brown and the muffins get toasty and crisp.
Yeah.
And so that is for about, let me just handy dandy recipe here. About 20 minutes.
Okay.
15 to 20 minutes.
All right.
And then,
Ooh,
so
those
they're
look,
ready.
yeah, they look wonderful.
There we go. You can take them off of the cookie sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Cut them in 6.
So you can do these ahead of time before you have a get together.
Absolutely. And so what you do is you can either cut them up ahead of time or you can just keep them all together like this. But you can just wrap them up. Put them in the freezer. They freeze beautifully.
Oh.
Bring them out, and you'll see on the recipe that we will make sure is circulated. Oh, by the way, you also sprinkle a little bit of paprika.
Ooh, yes, that'll make it look so fabulous.
So when it's done from the oven.
Right out of the oven. Okay.
Out of the oven.
Okay.
So that's what you do, and then you can have them right away, or you can, as you said, you can have them.
So you could even make the
Freezer.
mix, and then you could just have the English muffins, and then if you had some helpers around for the party, then you'd have plenty of time for them to
If you wanted to do them
spread
fresh,
it that
absolutely.
way. That would be
Absolutely.
kind of neat too.
So there you have it.
Wow. Do you mind if I try one?
Please do.
Okay. Thank you.
I think I'll try one too.
Oh, really good.
Yeah, much better warm. But they're not bad here.
No, they're delicious. These are certainly easy. You know, I'm always saying, if you know an easy recipe that you'd like to share, you nailed it on this one. Thank you for listening. Someone does, you know, that's for sure. Goodness
Easy's
gracious.
good.
Yes,
Easy's good. So,
definitely.
I use my hand. And like
Wow. Now you were saying that the foundation is going to do projects for, is it for all of Fluvanna County? It's not just the lake, inside the lake,
It's
is that?
certainly not just the lake. We have already started, so you may recall that back at Christmas time we had the Christmas memory tree where people could purchase, and many did. Thank you so much, the lake community.
Oh, and it was a beautiful tree too.
Purchasing the lights. Let's give you an idea how to.
Oh yes, that's lovely.
Sure.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so the foundation was established as a 501c3 charitable organization here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's been recognized by the IRS as a tax exempt organization. We've gotten our tax exemption determination letter.
Good.
And we also have registered with the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services so that we can fundraise with the public, so we can go out into the public, do fundraisers and so on, all to enhance the well-being of those that are here, live here in our community.
I see.
So our greater community,
Right.
lake for sure, but the greater community as well.
Now you have a couple of projects that
We do.
in that giving tree. What did y'all do with some of those funds?
So the proceeds, we were fortunate to raise about $1,000, a little bit over $1,000.
Wow, that's great.
We were able to make a donation of $500 out of those proceeds to the Lake Monticello Fire and Rescue.
Oh, that's
We're very happy to do
wonderful.
that.
Oh, yeah.
We are partnering with them again
Oh,
coming up at the end of April 24th, Saturday. We'll have a community shred.
I love
And
that.
so bring your box of documents to be shredded. And one banker's box will cost $10 to have it shredded.
That's a bargain.
It is a great price. And we'll have a truck that will be there. And the great thing about this service is they will be shredding on site.
Oh, good.
So as soon as you hand us your box, and it doesn't have to be in a box. We'll have bankers' boxes as well, our volunteers will, so that we can measure out the amount that should go into the shredder.
I see.
But they shred it right there while you wait. So
Oh,
you
that's
can
good.
see your documents being shredded.
Yeah.
A lot of places don't do it that way. They
No,
bring
and
it
you
to a truck.
worry. You worry, you know.
I always do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the other thing we're doing with the fire department. We also have started we're on a working group. We have 2 members of our board. And we have a wonderful board of directors, which consists of 10 philanthropy-minded, I guess that's the way to put that, residents here at the lake. And 2 of them are actually serving on a working group with officials from LMOA
Okay.
to collaborate
Collaborate. Yes.
on a first project to create, to remodel an existing playground and make it all-inclusive.
Oh,
For
now when
everyone.
you say that's handicap accessible, that's
Absolutely.
easy access for everyone.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
We're
Now,
very proud of the opportunity.
now,
to do that.
what will you do? How will you do that?
So the way that we envision doing that, and this all needs to be worked out. As I say, we're in the early days of this work.
And you're working together with the Lake Monticello staff and the Lake Monticello board. This is a collaboration, like you said.
Exactly. Always intended to be, and always should be. Certainly, the way we intend to work in the future. We hope with LMOA as well. But anyway, the idea, we're in the early days of this, and so we're working through issues that arise, and the idea is that the foundation would make an in-kind donation. Now, what that means is people hear the word donation and they think, oh, that's going to be cash.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is not necessarily.
Yeah.
An in-kind donation is where where the charitable organization, in our case, the foundation, where they purchase, for example, materials.
Okay.
Let's say it's a piece of playground equipment that is suitable and appropriate for those with special needs.
I see.
And what you do then is, what the foundation would do is they would purchase that piece of equipment. It would be delivered to the Lake Monticello Owners Association,
Mm-hmm.
to the Lake Monticello staff, and they're wonderful. The grounds and maintenance staff here is just fantastic.
And they're the ones that are designing it and putting it all together. You're just, the foundation is just giving them something that will enhance the playground. Is that correct?
Exactly.
I see.
And so that's certainly the way we have always envisioned doing it.
Yeah.
And so that's the way it would work. We would buy the materials. We could also buy services, for example, so services of an architect
or a landscaper or anything.
Designer or anything.
Yeah.
We could certainly purchase those. And then what would be the donation from the foundation would be that service that the foundation had paid for.
Well, that sounds marvelous. It sounds like the lake has projects that they have like a wish list, and we're limited on budgets every year, and you can't accomplish everything you'd like to. So having this additional funds that are, or even not funds, but availability to buy additional equipment or enhance something, that's so nice. And that's where all the charitable dollars are going to.
Well, actually not all.
Oh.
Not all. We intend to partner, just as we have with the Lake Monticello Fire and Rescue. We intend to partner with other nonprofit organizations in the greater lake community. So I don't really want to go into a list, but there are other needful organizations
that help the community at large. Oh, okay. Now, you said that there was another recipe we're going to do,
and
so let's get on that.
Is.
Okay. So, Carol, now we're going to make your second wonderful recipe, and easy, again, is the key word here. And tell us a little bit about it, the name of it, and how it came about. How did you learn about it?
So, what we're including in this recipe, the ingredients, as you can see, are 3, and that's all. And so, under door number 1, butter. Softening is nice. A little bit, not too much. Ritz crackers and marshmallows. So this is a recipe called Marsh Crackers. And my mother made this for our daughters, and of course us, when we would visit. And at the point that our kids came along, my parents had moved from Northern Virginia out to Cumberland, Virginia, which is about an hour south of here.
Okay.
And bought property there and built a house on it. And that was where my kids went to grandma's.
Oh.
And so we would go down there for a weekend or for a week, whatever. And my mom was not the best cook.
Oh.
Unlike my mother-in-law, who was a fantastic gourmet cook. My mother was the kind of cook that just wanted to get it on the plate and get you fed and move on to something else. So simple was good for her. So that's why she came up with this really simple recipe. Because it entertained the kids. It was wonderful. It combined salty and sweet. So everybody enjoyed it, especially the kids. And so our youngest, who of course is now 35.
Wow.
But anyway, our youngest coined the name, which is Marsh Crackers.
Clever.
You can dress it up. You can add things to it. You can add Hershey's syrup. You can add a small square. You'll see why in a minute. A small square of Hershey's chocolate. You can have it with peanut butter.
Oh.
Our daughter says she tried all kinds of different variations. But this is the basic one.
Okay.
This is the one that she grew up.
Well, let's get started and see how to do it.
So all you do is you just take your Ritz crackers and you place them on a cookie sheet. And you just lay them out.
Okay. Now this looks like something I could do with my grandkids.
Oh, absolutely. And they believe me, get such a kick out of doing it with their grandma.
Oh, that's I'm going to try this.
Yeah, they're great. It's lots of fun, really easy. As I said before, only 3 ingredients. Oh boy.
Well, through the pandemic, we've been, the only place they have to come is our house. So we've seen a lot of them, which I feel blessed. And we've had a lot of fire pits in the backyard, and a lot of marshmallows. We've gone through quite a bit of marshmallows.
Well, and the great part about this recipe is it's great for inclement weather. If you are not able to use your fire pit, we love our fire pit too. If you're not able to use your fire pit, you can do this on a rainy day. Like today.
Yeah, today it's raining.
You can do this because you're just going to put it on the broiler for just a couple minutes, and it's done.
Well, and the fact that they can do it too, I think that, they're making it. That makes a big difference,
So I'm just going to show you the level of schmear we're talking about.
Oh, wow.
When we say a schmear, it's not what sometimes people think of as a schmear, which is a whole lot.
That's me. Yeah, I'm like...
Don't want to do that. Because the reason you don't is because then it just makes it more of a mess underneath the cracker because it'll melt through.
Okay. And again, you're not using any Pam or anything like that on the cookie sheet. That's really great.
So just a little bit on there.
Okay. Great.
You put that on each cracker. I'll go ahead and get them off.
Well, while you're doing that, I just wanted to say thanks for explaining the foundation for me a little bit more because, there's been talk out there and there's just so many... Without any real information, you kind of get the wrong message. And all it's there for us to have is really an enhancement to what's going on at the lake already. And so I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing, that's for sure.
We certainly think so, and hope it will turn out to certainly be all of that and more. So just for more information about the foundation, you can go to our website, which is www.lakemonticellocommunityfoundation.org. I know it's a mouthful, but we're staying compliant with all the requirements, so you got to have the whole name.
I see.
And we also have a Facebook page, and it's also Lake Monticello Community Foundation. Again, a mouthful.
Yes.
And we hope another thing we're going to be featuring pretty soon now. We've gotten we've gotten a design for and have actually started purchasing T-shirts.
Oh, okay. I saw that. Yes, that's great. You're
t-shirt.
Using scissors?
Yes, I am. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Because an entire marshmallow is too much for this recipe.
Okay.
And you could perhaps use a little teeny marshmallows that you put in hot chocolate, but it really isn't quite the same.
Well, it fits so nicely too on the top.
So this way, if you just cut them in half and put them on.
Well, that's a great idea.
Then it works so much.
Looks like a little button on top, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? And it's just so much. You'll see when you have one. It ends up being just the right amount.
Well, I love the idea of the scissors. And I have those safety scissors for the little kids, for the little ones, so I'll be able to use those too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, just give me another couple of minutes with this. But going back to the foundation, so you can find out about us online by the website. As I said, we are a properly established charitable organization here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We comply with all of the IRS requirements and have obtained our tax-exempt determination letter from the IRS, and we also are compliant with all of the Commonwealth's requirements as well.
Well, that's wonderful.
So now what we do is you just put these in the oven under the broiler, and if you have an oven that has different settings for the broiler, we suggest you use the medium setting. And they take about 4 minutes on the broiler, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. But give me another tip about this recipe is you got to watch it like a hawk, because you don't want it to get burned.
Okay.
You want it to get nice and brown on top, but not burn.
Okay. Well, that wouldn't be bad for your grandchildren to sit over here on a stool and watch it like a hawk for you,
Exactly what our kids did when they were little.
I think that's a good plan. That keeps them sitting down for 4 whole minutes. That's great,
That's a lot of time for a little one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But anyway, so as I was saying before, this was a great recipe for our kids growing up. I would recommend it to you because it doesn't. You'll see when you try one. You see it's not so terribly sweet that it's saccharine, and it's not so terribly salty that is sour.
I see.
So it's a nice combination of the two.
Yeah. And it's not so much sugar that they might be running circles around the house after they eat a couple of them.
Exactly
so that's good.
But you got to have a little bit of sugar, to help the medicine go down.
Actually, I think this is less sugar than I normally give them. I'm usually force feed them bars of chocolate. So, oh, they do cook quick. That is
hadn't even been
very quick.
So
Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, they look so neat. Oh, they smell good too. Here, let me get this over here. And you can put it on there. So you got it? Here we go.
Now, the other secret about Marsh Crackers is they are best when they're hot.
Oh, ooh.
They are okay. They're fine when they're not hot.
Okay.
But when they're hot, they really are quite good. And so what I'll do is I'll put them on a little plate.
Okay. Now,
by the time I'm done putting them on a plate, that's about the how long you have to wait to come out of the oven.
Because, marshmallows are tricky. They can burn your tongue, and you want to be careful about that.
Absolutely, with little ones.
Yeah.
So I would recommend for your little ones, you try the first one.
Okay.
They won't like that. But, but it's better to be safe than to be sorry.
That is true. Yeah.
So just put them out here on there.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And got to be careful because they can get away from you. Lucy and I have already had in practice for this. We've already
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're really cute though. I mean, they're just you could even put like little faces on them if you wanted to.
You could do all kinds of different things.
Do you mind if I go ahead and try one?
Yes, this should be okay. This one.
Okay. I'm gonna open it
all right?
a little bit. I'll have to try it.
You have?
Those are wonderful. Those are really good. I didn't have to build a fire. I didn't have to get smoke in my eyes.
You didn't have to campfire afterwards? No.
Those are wonderful. I didn't have to spray down the fire afterwards.
Exactly.
So those are delicious. That's so great.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed them. So those are the two recipes that we have.
I love it. Well, thank you, Carol. We appreciate you letting us in your home. And
I enjoyed it. It was great.
I'm going to try these when I get home with my grandchildren. That's for sure. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
If you have a recipe that's quick and easy like Carol did, please email me at the lake at maryjanewarner2501@gmail.com, and we'll see you next time on Cooking at the Lake. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.